Welcome to Context 101. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon for more breaking updates. Today, in a decision that will echo for years to come, the U.S. Supreme Court struck down President Trump's sweeping tariffs, sending shockwaves through the highest levels of government and industry alike. The ruling, delivered in a packed courtroom and broadcast around the world, marks a pivotal turning point in the nation's approach to global commerce. With a single decision, the justices have instantly redrawn the global economic map, upending the established order and forcing countries and corporations to rethink their strategies overnight. Trade routes, alliances, and supply chains are all being reconsidered in real time. The rules that govern trillions in commerce for the past year are now gone, leaving uncertainty in their wake. On Wall Street, traders scramble to interpret the new reality, while boardrooms across the globe are left in stunned silence, their plans suddenly obsolete. These tariffs, a cornerstone of Trump's economic policy, were meant to protect American industries, especially manufacturing and steel, by making foreign goods more expensive and giving domestic producers a fighting chance in a fiercely competitive market. But instead, they triggered global retaliation and volatility, sparking trade wars that rippled through every continent. Allies and rivals alike imposed their own tariffs, leading to higher prices, supply shortages, and diplomatic standoffs. The court's decision is more than a reversal. It's a seismic challenge to the foundation of that policy. It calls into question the very limits of presidential power over trade, and sets a precedent that will shape future administrations. Imagine a dam holding back a river. Today, the court blew it open, unleashing a flood of legal and economic consequences worldwide. The sudden release has left governments, businesses, and workers scrambling to adapt to a rapidly changing landscape. Stock markets are in turmoil, world leaders are reacting with emergency meetings, and newsrooms are abuzz with speculation. The uncertainty is palpable, as everyone tries to predict what comes next. The future of global trade is suddenly up for grabs. Companies are pausing shipments, renegotiating contracts, and workers in export-dependent industries are left wondering about their jobs. The central question now looms large. Is this a return to open trade, a new era of cooperation and opportunity, or merely a temporary pause in America First policies that could return with the next administration? The implications touch every aspect of life, from jobs and wages to international alliances and the price of everyday goods. Families, workers, and business owners alike are bracing for what the future holds. As of January 4, 2026, we're witnessing the first chapter of a new, uncertain era in the global economy. The world is watching, waiting, and preparing for whatever comes next. To truly understand the impact of today's events, we need to rewind the clock to 2025, a year that would reshape the global economic landscape and redefine America's role in the world economy. That was when the Trump administration boldly declared the start of its so-called Year of the Tariff, a sweeping campaign that would soon send shockwaves through international markets and households across the country. By invoking the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, the White House bypassed Congress and unilaterally imposed broad tariffs on a vast array of goods, everything from industrial steel to everyday fruit. This unprecedented move was justified as a matter of national security, but it also marked a dramatic shift in U.S. trade policy. The administration's stated goals were twofold: to halt the deadly flow of fentanyl into the country and to tackle the ballooning U.S. trade deficit, both of which were declared national emergencies. But what did these sweeping measures actually achieve? The result was a staggering $200 billion tax on imports, a figure that rippled through every sector of the economy and touched nearly every American household. Businesses faced mounting costs for raw materials and components, while consumers saw prices climb on everything from groceries to electronics. For many, the promise of economic protection came with a hefty price tag. Internationally, the move sparked outrage. U.S. trading partners retaliated with their own tariffs, igniting a global trade war that strained diplomatic ties and rattled financial markets from Beijing to Berlin. Some American industries, like steel and certain segments of agriculture, initially thrived under the new protectionist policies, celebrating what they saw as a long-overdue defense against foreign competition. But for others, especially those reliant on exports or global supply chains, the tariffs brought hardship. Factories shuttered, Farmers watched crops rot at export docks, and entire communities felt the sting of lost markets. The administration pointed to robust GDP growth and a surge in domestic production as evidence of success, touting these numbers in press briefings and campaign rallies. Yet critics, including economists and consumer advocates, warned that the tariffs were hurting everyday Americans, driving up costs, and putting long-standing alliances under severe strain. This fundamental clash between protectionism and open trade set the stage for a fierce legal battle, one that would ultimately reach the highest court in the land and shape the future of American economic policy. The tariffs became more than just an economic tool. They became a symbol of economic nationalism, fueling passionate debate and deepening divisions, both at home and abroad. Today, the Supreme Court's dramatic decision marks the end of that high-stakes gamble, closing a chapter that has defined an era of American economic policy. The question now is clear. With the fortress dismantled, what comes next for America and the world? As leaders and markets react, the world is watching, waiting for the next move in this unfolding economic story. The legal battle was about power, specifically, who gets to tax, Congress or the president? Companies argued Trump's tariffs, imposed under EPA, were unconstitutional taxes. The Supreme Court agreed. Only Congress can levy taxes, even in emergencies. The court ruled IEPA wasn't a blank check for tariffs, reaffirming the separation of powers. The decision voids the tariffs and could force the government to repay billions to importers. But refunds won't be automatic. Businesses must file claims, setting off a wave of litigation. Legal experts saw this coming, calling the tariffs a clear overreach. The justices focused on constitutional process, not economic wisdom. The message, urgent or not, the president can't bypass Congress on taxes. The fallout, a legal and financial storm for the government. The Supreme Court's decision sent global markets into chaos, triggering a wave of uncertainty that rippled through every major financial center. Investors, traders, and analysts scrambled to make sense of the sudden shift as the news broke across trading floors from New York to London to Hong Kong. Wall Street plunged as uncertainty replaced the tariff status quo. The familiar patterns that had guided investment decisions for months were suddenly upended, leaving traders to react in real time to a rapidly changing landscape. Commodity prices swung wildly. Steel and aluminum dropped, while farm goods surged on hopes of renewed exports. The markets reflected a new reality, as industries that once benefited from protection now faced open competition, and those previously restricted saw new opportunities. The dollar weakened, signaling investor anxiety about U.S. liabilities and disrupted industries. Currency traders watched closely, anticipating further volatility as the implications of the ruling became clearer. International currencies like the euro and Canadian dollar strengthened, reflecting relief abroad. For America's trading partners, the end of tariffs promised easier access to U.S. markets and a potential boost to their own economies. For a year, tariffs shaped business models. Now, their sudden removal creates new winners and losers. Companies that had invested heavily in domestic production faced tough questions, while others saw new avenues for growth. Domestic manufacturers lose protection, while importers and consumers anticipate lower prices. The shift is immediate. Factories may slow, but store shelves could soon be filled with more affordable goods from abroad. The volatility highlights how deeply tariffs had become embedded in the economy. Every sector, from manufacturing to agriculture to retail, is now forced to adapt to a new set of rules. Investors are scrambling to predict the new landscape. Some see risk, others see opportunity, but all agree. The rules of the game have changed overnight. The dust hasn't settled and the market's message is clear. Change brings risk and opportunity. Every decision now carries higher stakes as the world watches for the next move. The world is recalibrating in real time. From boardrooms to trading desks, strategies are being rewritten to match the new global order. The next moves will shape the future of global trade, determining who thrives and who falls behind in this new era of economic uncertainty and possibility. This ruling is a political earthquake, rebalancing power in Washington. For years, presidents expanded executive authority over trade. Today, the court slammed the brakes. Congress is now forced to reclaim its role in economic policy. Consumers may see lower prices, but industries once shielded by tariffs face new threats. The ruling sparks a national debate. Protect domestic jobs or embrace global competition. The impact will be uneven. Cheaper goods for some, job anxiety for others. The decision doesn't pick a side, but it changes the rules for everyone. The conversation about America's economic future just got a lot louder. Experts agree, this is a major check on presidential power. Trade specialist Lori Wallach says the ruling forces trade policy to be more deliberate, less impulsive, but lawyer Ted Murphy warns, don't expect tariffs to vanish, they'll likely return under different laws. Business groups hope for stability and an end to the trade war, while labor unions fear job losses from renewed foreign competition. Global leaders, especially in Canada and Mexico, welcome the decision as a chance to reset relations. The upcoming CUSMA renegotiations could benefit from this new climate. Still, the administration's Plan B looms, and the legal fight is far from over. The future of U.S. trade policy is uncertain, but the rules have changed. The world is bracing for the next round. The Supreme Court may have ended the IEEPA tariffs, but the administration is ready with a backup plan. Plan B involves reissuing tariffs under older laws, like Section 232 and Section 301, citing national security or unfair trade. These statutes give the president more leeway, and new tariffs could appear within days. Each new move will spark fresh legal battles, prolonging uncertainty for businesses and consumers. Experts call it legal whack-a-mole tariff struck down, only to reappear under new justifications. The trade war isn't over, it's just shifting battlegrounds. Instability will persist as courts and policymakers wrestle over the limits of executive power. The fight over America's trade future is far from settled. America's allies are breathing a cautious sigh of relief. The end of IEEPA tariffs removes a major obstacle to cooperation, especially with CUSMA renegotiations looming. Canada, Mexico, and the EU see this as a win for the rule of law and a chance to rebuild trust. But optimism is tempered. Trump's America First stance and threats to withdraw from trade deals remain. Allies know new tariffs could return under different laws. The core debate, free trade versus protectionism, still divides Washington and its partners. Whether this is a true turning point or a brief pause depends on Congress and the White House. The future of Western alliances hangs in the balance. January 4, 2026, marks a crossroads for America and the world. The Supreme Court's ruling has upended trade policy, but the next chapter is unwritten. Will the White House double down on tariffs, or will Congress reclaim its authority? The answers will shape jobs, prices, and America's place in the global economy. The debate is no longer abstract, it's about real lives and livelihoods. The world is watching as America decides, build walls or build bridges. What do you think the future of trade should look like?